All right, guys, welcome back to Conservative Confucius. We're going to do a little talking about, the Israel-Palestine thing again. Some of you might not be too interested in that, but I just think it's good to be able to disseminate what is, what's really going on over there and how much you're being told truthful and how much you're being lied to. There's a guy on Twitter. I follow him. He does a lot of good job on being able to, really expose what you're being shown and just kind of look at it from a different point of view. How many people in the video have makeup on? Why would they be having makeup on if they're in such a crisis? How many of these people have professional cameras, like Red Cameras, which is a brand that's probably worth around $25,000 to $40,000 a camera? And how many people have those cameras? How many people have, Canon DSLRs like I'm filming on? How many of these people have, 4K cameras and, complete setups with steady cams and everything? When they're supposed to be in the middle of the crisis, wouldn't you be more focused on helping the people who are suffering in this crisis rather than filming them and just saying, I'm not going to help, I'm just going to videotape, even though the person who you say is suffering is supposedly suffering from an injury, and yet you do nothing but film, and that's supposed to make us feel like this is something that we should be paying attention to. This is something that's more real because there's more cameras. I'm sorry, usually when there's an actual situation, there isn't a film crew on hand. Usually when there's an actual situation, a real situation, the film crew doesn't arrive for an hour or two and then finds the destruction and catalogs the destruction. There isn't a film crew on hand the second something happens. There isn't a film crew on hand when people are mourning, when people are, brought into the hospital. These things don't happen. And they happen on a small scale, but the level that they're happening at in Palestine is obviously bullcrap. And this is not an old thing for them. They've been doing what was coined Pallywood years ago, by people who started noticing peculiar things about articles written, videos shown, and it was something that really concerned a lot of people. So they started looking into some of the articles, some of the tweets, some of the posts made on other social media, and they started realizing a very concerning pattern, which was the main thing is they were using pictures or even videos from other conflicts, whether past or current, to then say this is what's going on in Palestine, when it wasn't. It was going on in Syria, or it was going on in Yemen, or it was going on in Iraq or Iran, or in Turkey, or in Pakistan. They were using these conflicts as there's even photos used from Russia, like a Russian girl, just a picture of a Russian girl who had died in a conflict years ago, I think this is a 2017 post. I have it saved to my phone, but this is something really, really common for them. I'll bring up a few and then show you guys specifically what we're talking about. And just so you guys can get a really good idea of what is actually going on, so you can better prepare yourself for the things that are going on right now and understand that everything you see is completely, put through. You're halfway around the world and you're viewing a conflict that's the other side of the world, and you're saying these things have to be true because I saw them on Twitter. Why does it have to be true because you saw it on Twitter? Why does anything have to be true because you saw it on social media? Why are we looking at things today? We're judging conflicts today like they're, like we were some geopolitical, military experts who have knowledge on the topics that we're talking about. When we don't. We are ignorant of these things just as much as anyone else. And this is something that is extremely common with these people. It's not something that is a rare occurrence in Palestine. They have a record for using other conflicts to further their own narrative, as well as posing or filming fake content to fit their own narrative. And this is something that's been going on for almost 15 years now. It's not uncommon. It's not unknown. And it's something that we see all too often. Sorry, guys, just pulling up everything before I bring you guys in. So to make sure we have all of the stuff. There we go. Okay. All right. One last one and we're good. So yeah, I mean, basically, this is, like I said, this is something that has been going on for a while. You'll see it often. The most common ones you'll see, like I said, are Syria. A lot of them are being used recently. They were saying that white phosphorus gas in the beginning of the conflict was being used to like harm Palestinians, and they were showing pictures of people who supposedly died from it. It turns out that all of those pictures were from the Syrian sarin gas attacks. So this isn't something that is uncommon or unknown for these people. They commonly do this. They often are going to try to fight whatever they can to push their narrative into the forefront of what is being told about everything, so that they can lead the I guess you could say cultural battle to put their message on top of the other people's. And I mean, it's so common now that, I mean, they've been caught using tons of AI now. You'll see kids with like 9 fingers on one hand and 3 on the other, and 2 toes on one foot and 7 on the other, and their lips are melded together, and they don't have ear on one side of their head, and they're not injured. They're just, there's one guy that was carrying like 7 children on him, and he had one of the children had like melded together hands, and this is just so common. I mean, I can actually pull up that photo right here, and like I've said, this is something that is too common with these people. And I'm not saying all Palestinians, but I am saying it's not an uncommon occurrence. So right here you can see if I can open this, or let's zoom in this a bit. There we go. Okay, so you can see the hands are melded together right here. You can see this kid's feet actually blend into the rocks. This one has no foot. This one blends in. Then he has weird like fingers, like they're just melded together. This baby has one arm, 2 different sized legs. One looks like it belongs to a toddler. The other one looks like it belongs to a baby. These children are like completely misshapen. Like this kid, it looks like, yeah. This kid who's hanging off here, it looks like his leg comes from a different body. Her leg isn't there. She has, and then somehow this kid has his leg here, but then the kid who's wrapping around the arms, it's supposed to be both of them. But if you look, actually, the hands meld together in what they called a flesh bow tie or something like that. Yeah, you can even see digitally created AI image. It's not genuine. It was posted by Jackson Hinkle, Dr. Maria Lupus, or whatever her name is, Anastasia Maria Lupus, the really anti-Semitic, just Jew hater, just like Jackson Hinkle, and Suleiman, whatever his name is, one of the other Jew haters. And I mean, this is just common stuff for them. I mean, you'll find this all over. It's not uncommon for them to do this. Yeah, so here we go. So it says right here, this is the Russia one, where the little girl was found. They said, oh, little girl was killed. Israel killed this beautiful little girl named Rahaf. And it was posted originally in May 21st of 2015, and it was reposted in 2018 of December 24th. And it was posted on Twitter originally. It was reposted on, or it was originally posted on Instagram. It was reposted on Twitter. And I mean, this is just like, hold on. Am I getting this wrong? Am I reading it wrong? It's hard to see this crap. Oh, my bad. So this is May 15th of 2021, and then it was reposted in it was reposted in May 15th, 2021, and it was taken and posted originally from Russia in December 24th. And she's alive, by the way. She's not dead in Russia. And then it says Gaza under attack, terrorist Israel, 2021. But then it says the Pope calls for an end of violence in Syria, 2018, February 25th. And this is something that they've been doing for years. I mean, here's just a professional camera, everything. They're all, wearing their little uniforms and vests. but they're smiling at the camera because they don't actually realize that they're continuing, that the film is still going. They think they've filmed their little propaganda bit. And then there's this one where they're walking down the street in Palestine with a guy who's supposedly dead, but then they drop the thing and they keep walking because they realize they've messed up. The body fell off and the guy ends up just getting up and walking off. And I mean, this is not uncommon. I mean, here's even more. Let's open this up a little bit wider so we can see. All right, so two brothers from Gaza thought the other one had died during the bombing, but it was a surprise. Oh my God, so amazing. Nope, fate of Syrian boys captured on video after mourning loss of brother. This is, 2016? It says 2021 there. Hamas lies, more of them. Gaza, blah, blah, blah. Look at all these children. Look at the baby who died. Oh, nope, look, it's from 13 years ago, from 2000, more than that now. 13 years ago, again, I said that again. 2007, it says right here. So in 2021, 13 years prior to that, there was a video posted on social media or on YouTube that yet somehow they're able to use this crap. And then, okay, let's see here. Haaretz.com, civilian Anasa killed, critically wounded in Israeli airstrike. Oh, look, here's the truth. The actual truth is it was an ISIS flag wrapped around this person, and they were not just an innocent person. They were a terrorist who was well known and a member of ISIS. Like, no matter what, it's always lies. Like, and then, like, kids getting put on makeup to see how, like, to literally get used to the fact that they're producing propaganda over there, and they're like, oh, we need to put on this so we can do this and we can make Israel look bad. And it's just like, why? Like, why do you continually do this? And here's one of the more common ones. So Syria airstrike, Gaza under attack, Palestinians. Ugh. And it says like a little Palestinian flag. They use the picture, but it says Syria airstrikes, target civilians, Human Rights Watch. Like, this is not an uncommon theme for them. This is extremely common. And let's get into this guy on Twitter. His name is, his social media is at Gazawood1, all capitals, Gazawood. The Pallywood saga, Israel versus Palestine. That's what it says. I don't, all of his videos are great. Most of the ones he posts are legitimate, but there are some that I'm a little more, on the fence about. Like, is it real? Is it not real? And I understand that, the questioning of it because, there's so much fake stuff that's posted. Even when there is real stuff, you're like, is that real? Really? I mean, is it? So it's good to be able to disseminate what's real and what's not, and that's what he is here for. He's here to, let you know what is, you make the decision. He's not saying it, it's fake. He says, is it fake? And it's your decision to choose. And I mean, most of the ones that it's really obvious, he doesn't question those. But I mean, the ones where it's like, is it? I mean, it kind of looks fake. It definitely seems like there's some questionable things going on. And you can definitely tell that with most of them. So let's get into one of the first ones. So they have sound equipment, boom mics, professional cameras, professional mourners, professional everything, and yet we're supposed to believe this is something that is real? Really? We're just lucky that people over there aren't smart enough to not document when they're filming this crap. Because if they were smart enough to not document it and then not post it on Arabic, or in Muslim social media sites in the Middle East, we would never see this. I mean, seriously, if this wasn't posted on, Middle Eastern social medias, we would never get it because that's how it's obtained. Most of these videos where it's exposing this is obtained through foreign social media companies where people see it and who don't agree with that stuff in that side of the world or who are using VPNs to access these countries. You can tell these are just ridiculous. I mean, it's so ridiculous that people expect us to believe this. And this is just one of dozens upon dozens upon dozens upon dozens of lies that we'll expose. So, all right. Sorry, let's get on to... Well, I mean, this is a good one to go over, I guess. Let's go over this one. So this is some of the photos that we've been seeing. Oh, look, these children starving in Gaza. Look what Israel's doing to the starving children. Okay, well, let's actually see where it's from. There you go. Yemeni boy ravaged by hunger weighs 7 kilograms. So it's not Israel. It's not. Yemeni boy. Ravaged Reuters. So, I mean, Reuters took part in the October 7th attacks. They had a freelance journalist who was literally there who knew about the attacks prior, and they're saying that this is not Palestine. Stop listening. And the pictures you are seeing, see, look, oh, Gaza, Muslim countries from their wealth, where are they? Where are they? Really? Because it's not Palestine. It's Yemeni. It's a Yemen kid from Yemen who's starving because of the people, the Muslims themselves. Has nothing to do with Israel, has nothing to do with America. Why are we sitting here acting like this is some unique thing to Israel and Palestine when this is the entire Muslim world does this to themselves? But then when second Jews get involved, the second they say, well, we want our homeland back, you guys invaded in the 7th century and you've never really left. You've took over the entire North African continent, part of Central Africa, even going into South Africa or Southern Africa now. You've completely taken over the Middle East. You're now taking over Europe. Why can't we just have a piece of our own land, which we've owned longer than you've existed? Like, I don't understand how these people. Not only that, they say, "Oh, what about the Al-Aqsa Mosque? What about the Dome of the Rock?" Because they're so holy to Muslims. And it's like, no, they're not. They really aren't. And I don't care what you think. Muslims may think they're holy, but they weren't made holy sites until 450 years after Islam, like after Muhammad's death. It was postulated by someone who had never met Muhammad, never read his direct words other than just like, recreate, not recreations, but just, copies of what he said, someone said he said years ago. And yet we're supposed to believe that this man who's never met Muhammad, who's never talked to him, who's never read his words directly put on a page by him. This is 450 years after he died. And yet we're supposed to believe this man has an inside knowledge on how a dream Muhammad had in the middle of the night where he went to Jerusalem on a donkey monster with the head of a woman. I'm not kidding, by the way. This is literally, you can look it up. Rode that donkey monster with wings from Medina all the way to Jerusalem in the middle of the night, and then was taken up. He went to the Dome of the Rock. Well, it wasn't the Dome of the Rock. It was the Temple Mount. And he went to the rock where he, at the time, I think actually it was a Christian church, actually. I think it was a Christian Byzantine church. That's why the domes that you see on top of mosques are actually from Byzantine architecture. So the first Christian churches, which is another thing that Islam stole, just like everything else. You got the Hebrew watermelon, Palestinian watermelon. You got the tops of their church, mosques, tops of churches. The land, not their land, everything. They just constantly steal everything, and then erase the culture that was there originally. Like they erase Africans' culture and say Arabic is your language. That's what they're doing in Nigeria. They're saying Arabic will be the national language, not, I can't remember the name of the language there, but like the name of that their tribal language plus their colonial language. So it's just like neither of those languages are going to be considered there, even though they've been there for hundreds of years for the colonial one, thousands of years for the original tribal one, and yet neither of those are going to be considered allowed under this new Islamic regime. But Arabic is somehow like he said we're not going to use our colonizers' language. I was like, I'm sorry, you're not going to use your colonizers' language. You are colonizing, and you are colonized. That's what Arabic would be. It's not anywhere from Africa. It's from the Arabian Peninsula, and I just don't understand these people. They colonize everything. They're the biggest imperialist peoples in the entire world, and yet they complain the most about being oppressed. And it's just like, dude, it's just taqiyya. It's just Islamic deception meant to make you feel bad so they can further their narrative and agenda. If you don't know what taqiyya is, you should look it up. It's TAQQIYA, I think. Taqiyya. So some more overaction. You can actually literally see the point where these people hear, like, the guy's like, action. There's no reaction, no sadness, just everybody's kind of like waiting for the guy to say action. You got a couple people that are already into it. A couple kids who are fake crying and no tears shed, not one tear. Not one tear. Look at that. Just looks like a kid crying in a movie. This guy's looking around weird, like, what the hell is going on? And then this woman out of nowhere throws herself. Look, right? Like, oh gosh, dude. Like, so fake. So fake. Why can't you do better than coming up with just such fake stuff? I mean, if you're going to lie to us, have the courtesy to lie to us with class. Don't lie to us with this bull crap that's just so fake. Like, if I'm going to be lied to, and other people are going to be lied to, and they're going to actually push this narrative forward, it better be good lies, man. This guy's like, okay, I think there's been enough crying. Like, well, side eye on that dude. Just, I think this is enough. Look at this kid. Look at that kid. He's just like, what the hell is going on? All side eye. What the hell is going on over here, man? Like, just crazy. This guy's just like, what the frick is going on, man? Yeah, of course they have, nice cameras available. The second power is going to go out. Yeah, so lucky this journalist was here quite by accident. The exact moment Israel cuts off the electricity to Gaza. Let's see if the power actually goes out on the machines. I love how they act like you can't turn off the power yourself. Like you can't just go downstairs and hit a breaker and be like, and turn it back on after you film your little videos. This is one of the most crazy ones right here. So these guys literally lit on, like, they lit tires on fire to make, like, really dark black smoke so they'd have, like, a nice smoky, environment. And you'll see what's going on here. And they spray gasoline all over the tires to make them really, like, burn up. It's a big tire, I think, a tractor tire. Yeah, boom mics, everything. Professional cameras, steady cams, gimbals, which are, like, to hold the camera steady. Yeah, fake injured people. Red cameras, $25,000 camera right there. And they paint this entire thing to make it look like a house. Like, even though it's just cement buildings for probably what was used to be like some type of military checkpoint or water station or well station or well house or something. Yeah, look, they're going to make it look like a fake house. So they can be like, look, Israel is attacking this lone little house in the rural wilderness. Israel's attacking us, and we're going to protect this one farmer and his house and his property. We're going to make sure that they stand up to it. And you see them throwing like fake little rock slings, and it's like, dude, you know that Israel was the one who defeated the Philistines, aka the ancient Palestinians, which aren't Palestinians. The ancient Palestinians, real Palestinians, come from the land of Crete, which is an island off the coast of Greece. And they're Mediterranean, white people, basically, And the actual people who call themselves Palestinians come from a range of lands, but mainly they come from Iran, Iraq, Armenia, which is like Iraq and Iran and Turkey and stuff, and some of the Turkish people as well, and then Azerbaijan, and some of the people came from like other just surrounding lands like northern Syria and stuff like that, just to get work during the 1910s and the 1915s. So none of these people, almost none, I'd say about like maybe, let's look at this realistically. In 1875, there were around 9,000 to 10,000 Jews and around 6,000 to 7,000 Arabs. And that's the actual census population back then. So Jews outnumbered Arabs. And this is during the Ottoman Empire. They didn't just control, like people think like Ottoman Empire controlled that land, so they would have had a great presence there. Not really. They controlled all of that land. They didn't have a lot of presence. It wasn't like, just because an empire controls a piece of land doesn't mean they have a massive military there. I mean, they controlled a huge swath of land. They're not going to have a giant presence in an area where it's already desolate and destroyed. And, the Bedouins, even though they're cool people now, they were nomadic tribes, and they really ruined the land because they never settled anywhere and then farmed the land to help it grow and thrive. They kept going from piece of land to piece of land and just using it up until they used all of the resources off of it, and then they moved to the next land to do the same thing. But they wouldn't replant the land. They wouldn't re-sow the seeds to make the land thrive again afterwards, and it made it just a desolate wasteland of desert. And that's why nobody wanted to live there until the Jewish people, the Zionists, who everybody hates, came there and settled the land, who bought property off of the Arabs for 4 times its actual value, and then completely reinvented the land. They revived it from what it was, and they, instead of just Jerusalem and a couple other small villages, there was a thriving community of people in new built areas. I mean, Tel Aviv is a city built by Zionists for the purpose of being a new, amazing city in the Middle East, built completely from scratch, and they did so. And like, to have this stupid argument, like, oh, the Philistines are the ones fighting against the Israelites with slingshots now, like it's the other way around, David and Goliath, but it's not. It's never going to be like that. You're not some innocent little, shepherd's boy. You're not. And if you fight with Hamas and you push their propaganda, you are just as culpable as them. I don't care. I'm tired of us putting an argument with the fact that we have to remember that I think it was like 73% of the people in Palestine supported what happened on October 7th. And I'm not saying all of those people deserve to die. I'm not. But I am saying everyone that took part in it, including the journalists, I think, who sat there, threw grenades at, when the tanks finally actually came to try to stop them, they threw grenades on them and blew up one and then took another and then fired on Israel with it. So, like, I don't care who you are. If you took part in that attack, you deserve to be killed. But if you were just someone who supported it, I think you need to be de-radicalized. I think you need to be possibly isolated for a time, and something needs to happen. Because if your whole ideology and your belief system is that grape is resistance, and these things are okay because they suit your narrative and agenda, that's wrong. And I don't agree with the way Israel handles itself and everything either. I'm not saying that they're perfect. I'm not saying that their military strategy doesn't have flaws. But there's an obvious moral side on this. There's an obvious side that's moral and one that isn't. One side, like I showed you in the video yesterday, says we want death. We don't care about life. Life has no meaning. Life begins at death, and for the Hebrews, life begins at life. That's what they said. Well, life begins when God gave us the gift of life. And I'm a Jewish person, but I'm also a Messianic Jew, so I believe in Yeshua as the Savior, the Messianic promise. And I believe both. I believe life begins when God gave us life, and our life on earth is meant to reflect. It's to show multiple things: to struggle, was one; to suffer, and to show our faith in God, and that no matter what we go through, that faith never wanes, it never wavers, and we do our best to make sure that happens. Yes, we fall short of the grace of God. Yes, we will always falter, but it's to do our best to make sure we don't, and to continue pushing forward, and then to live everlastingly with Him after we die. That's what Christians believe, and that's what most Jews believe, honestly. There are some more radical, ultra-Orthodox Jews that believe that just life on earth, and even some of the more liberal Jews. Actually, I would say most of the Orthodox Jews, some of the most ultra-Orthodox Jews, really believe that it's not just about earth. But there are some really liberal and progressive Jews who really don't hold a lot of religious value or religious sentiment, but they say, like, oh, we're here to make life on earth perfect, and it never says that in the Torah, never says that in Tanakh, or any parts, and it's mainly like a later Talmudic belief, and it's not even held by the majority of the population of Jews. So we need to be looking at these situations realistically, and if these people want to think that death is the beginning of life, why are they complaining about death? And I'm not saying they deserve to die. Again, make this clear like yesterday. But if you say death is the beginning of life, then why are you complaining about death? Like, I don't know. If I was saying that, the purpose of life is to do this thing, and I complain about that thing happening to people around me, then I'm a hypocrite. Like, I'm not going to tell everyone the purpose of life is to get insulted on a daily basis so that we can become stronger ourselves. And then people insult everyone around me and myself, and I'm like, oh, I'm such a victim. This is so awful. Like, I feel so bad. Why are people treating me this way? And it's like, because you just said so, buddy. Your whole ideology supported that. Like, the way you treat people, the way your ideology is, the way your religion is, everything showed that you wanted this, and you even said you wanted it. Why are you complaining now? And that's what I feel about them. I don't feel they deserve to die, but they said they wanted to. And now that they are, they complain. I don't understand it. fake slingshots and such strong people running from nobody. Oh yeah, so there's the Israeli flag. So they wanted to make it look like an Israeli military, like checkpoint or something. Park a little Jeep there, put a couple Israeli flags on it. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Yeah, this one was crazy. I saw this. So the guy gets in there and he looks a little injured, but then the second they pour water on his face, not only does he wake up and he's completely fine wiping his face off, there's not one injury. There's no, like, the blood had no, there was no point where the blood was coming out of. It was just fake blood put all over him to make him look like he was injured. And you see this so much. So many people, these people going into hospitals, these videos, they have fake blood all over their face and they get their face wiped off, you know, where it looks like the injury was, and there's no scar, there's no, or not scar, but there's no injury, there's no open wound. And you're like, I'm sorry, how are you bleeding from a spot that has no wound? Like, no one critically thinks here. They just go, oh my God, Israel terrorists. Oh, bad Israel, bad Israel. No, no, no. Yeah, look, immediately wakes up. He's like, oh, look. And look, wait. Yeah, has full energy the second he wakes up. No injuries at all. Not one scratch. Nothing. Not at all. But somehow there was blood coming from here and all over his cheek, coming down from here. And yet there's no injury on his head. There's no injury in his eyebrow. There's no injury in his cheek. And yet we're supposed to believe that he was badly injured and then somehow was able to wake up and the first thing he did was, "Aah!" No, you don't do that when you're injured. I've been woken up after a serious injury, and the first reaction you usually have is you just try to get up. And when I had people forcing me down, when I tried to get up, and I just kept pushing. It was like, kind of got scared and made a noise, but like I didn't like just wave my hands in front. That's ridiculous. And this is coming from, by the way, this is coming from someone who's been shot on multiple occasions, who's been stabbed 4 times, and has had over 30-something surgeries, 27 on my leg and foot from a gunshot, and another, like, probably 5 surgeries. I don't know, 5 or 6. So a guy with blood all over him, but no holes in the shirt, no bullet wounds, no injuries. Yeah, look, just fake little drops of blood. Boop, 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 boop. A little smeared on fake blood. Gosh, dude. I'm so tired of this crap. So obviously this is a video from supposedly 75 years ago. And, you know, they had a lot of hoodies, you know, little zip-up hoodies 75 years ago. It was such a natural thing to see 75 years ago. You know, people in the Middle East, they wore hoodies all the time. I mean, it was just so common. Huh. A zip-up hoodie with a white zipper. It's very 2006. 2009, maybe 2012 even. Very odd. I didn't know that people in the Middle East had zip-up hoodies 75 years ago. Crazy, man. Never know.
تبعي ولادتي 15 نفر ذكورة وصبيان بنات وولاد وما لهمش الا الله رزقتنا على هالزيتونات يعني لما تاخذوهن وتحطوا فيهن دول وين نروح احنا.
It's like, seriously, man, just put a better filter on your video before you say it's 75 years old. This one is ridiculous. This woman says, like, all that's left for us, she's basically just complaining, to the people on the news channel. The second she gets off the news channel, she's laughing and, like, high-fiving or something of a woman behind her. It's ridiculous.
أمريكا بتتفرج وأمريكا بتدعم إسرائيل ومش عارفين إيش بدنا نسوي. الدول العربية بهدلتنا وأمريكا بهدلتنا. يعني مش قادرة أمريكا تحمي إسرائيل بتوقف في عند حدها. بتوقف في عند حدها. بعدها.
هذا هو حال
Wait for it.
ولسان
Wait
جميع
for it.
المواطنين في شمال قطاع غزة.
Wait for it.
المعاناة تتسع
Right. Yeah,
وتتفاقم
high five.
مع
There you
قصف
go.
مستمر
Look, wait,
أيضا وخيام قد
Laughing,
سقطت
smiling.
على رؤوس المواطنين
Look at
في
that.
هذه
Look at
الليلة.
that, dude.
حسام
Bull crap. Liars. They don't give a crap. They are full of crap. You wouldn't say, oh my God, high five. I just got Israel good. I'm making them look bad. High five, smile. You wouldn't do that if you were truly suffering. And if anybody believes they would do that when they're truly suffering, then you're just a scumbag and you have bad standards and morals. Mr. Sweater and Coat.
يا رب لنا غيرك يا رب احرق امريكا واسرائيل يا رب احنا مظلومين.
This guy, ridiculous, man. It's like you just driving to different parts of Palestine and then go, like, are you kidding me? Like, why? Oh, that's right, Pallywood. That's right.
يا رب لنا غيرك يا رب حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل على يهود خيبر على المستوطنين لنا غيرك يا رب لنا غيرك يا.
Yeah. A true Pallywood actor is always ready to shout when needed or when he sees the camera, even if the camera supposedly surprises him from behind. That's funny. Yeah. If someone randomly came up behind you with a camera, you'd be like, hi. And they're like, oh, can I film you? And you'd be like, I guess. And you'd say something. You wouldn't just be like, like, no, that doesn't happen, buddy. Yeah, so very, very expensive camera equipment, thousands and thousands of dollars. Just this piece right here, this little arm holding onto this. This is a gimbal. It's a smaller version of a steady cam. Minimum, these cost around $350 to $500. I could literally pull one out in a future episode. I'll pull one out. I have one in a case. I didn't even be in this room. No, it's not. It's up front in my other part of the house. Yeah, so this is not uncommon for them, man. Let's see it. Is Gaza starving? The Rafah market? So hungry. Oh, they're still getting television service. So that means they're getting power from Israel. Yeah. What an evil enemy. I mean, what type of evil people would supply their enemy with food, water, and internet and power? I mean, just so evil. I mean, it's like they want to commit genocide against these people. I mean, what kind of enemy would give you food, power, water, and risk their people's lives to drive in humanitarian aid on a daily basis? What kind of evil monsters are they? Yeah. Ridiculous. So this is Imshin. This is not Gazawood anymore. I just wanted to go over some of his stuff because he really exposes some more of the lies that's going on over there. That's, helps you guys disseminate really what's going on. So here's, some of the stuff. This is actually humanitarian aid, so chicken luncheon meat. This is literally humanitarian aid that's from Israel and other countries, and they're selling it in the Rafah market for money, like 3 times more expensive than you would buy it normally. So people are stealing the humanitarian aid. Hamas and even citizens are stealing the humanitarian aid, and then they're selling the humanitarian aid for cash. I mean, these people have no loaves. If they're really starving, don't you think they'd be giving it away? Don't you think they'd be eating it themselves? No, they don't give a shit. I'm sorry for my language, but look at this guy. Look at this guy he's standing in front of. Like, chubby dude, fat dude. Yet, somehow, this guy in this gray hoodie, super fat, is somehow starving. No, Screw you. Ridiculous, man. Let's see the apartheid that goes on in Israel, you know, because we've always heard that apartheid is just so evil and bad, and it's everywhere in Israel. You know, that Jews are constantly, you know, attacking the Muslims, supposedly, or Muslims aren't allowed to do anything, and they're, you know, you can't walk around with, you know, you can't read any signs in Arabic. It must be horrible for the Muslims there, right? I mean, that's what we've been told. Israel is an apartheid state. So let's actually see. What is it? Let's go.
After months of the Zionist denial of the apartheid, we have flown in to the center of Tel Aviv to showcase the segregation firsthand.
So Tel Aviv, a Jewish city founded by Zionists. Let's see how horribly Zionist supremacist Jewish racism there is. Let's see if it's actually going on there. Let's see how much the Jewish people hate the Arabs. Because I assume if it's an apartheid, it would be. So let's see.
Part of Israel's apartheid, there are only Jewish synagogues.
Weird. It's a mosque.
As part of Israel's apartheid, Arabs are not allowed to own businesses.
This beach is only for Jews.
Bad Muslims.
All street
Bad
signs
Muslims.
are strictly in the Jewish Hebrew language, leaving Arabs to blindlessly wander the streets.
Ah, the lovely sound of apartheid.
Apartheid, definitely a country with apartheid would not would allow other people to play their prayer calls on loudspeakers. You know, because like that's definitely what would happen. You know, Apartheid the musical coming soon. Funny. Alrighty, guys, that's going to be my video for today. Thank you for joining me. You know, it's Conservative Confucius. If you guys have any ideas for content, please let me know. You can find this guy's Gazawood. You can find his social media on Twitter at Gazawood1, and I will link it in the description for you guys. If you guys have any other social media people you want me to leave in the description and details, please let me know. I can always do that. Or you can just comment and I will answer your comment and make sure that you guys get it. Email me for any ideas, content, or anything like that. Just let me know what you want me to cover. Send me the ideas, send me the information, and I will do my best to cover it in a timely manner. I appreciate you guys coming.